this edition is published in the early hours of Saturday, the 2nd of May. Our main stories. India extends its lockdown for another 2 weeks, while South Africa begins easing its restrictions.
The number of coronavirus cases in Russia has now passed the 100,000 mark, and 1,000 people have died. France suffers its worst economic downturn in...
Hello everyone, my name is Sean. I'm the lead photographer with Cognito Studios Photography, and I'm the CEO of Cognito Studios and Imagery, the visual media and communication company that is based here in Abuja. On behalf of Shutters Network International, which is a platform for creative professionals to learn and inspire one another and the world at large, I bring to you a few tips that I think will be very useful for us as creatives as we navigate these uncertain times of the corona pandemic and as we gradually approach an easing of the lockdown restrictions. Many people are thinking that as the lockdown restrictions are being reduced, we may be able to start going back to do our business. But the concern on everybody's mind is how do we stay safe even as we go about doing our business. We cannot function effectively if you are paralyzed by fear. And so the essence of this video session is just to share a few points, things that I think will be helpful so that we can confidently approach this period and still find ways to get back to making money and doing the things we love to do. I'm going to share with the photography community, my colleagues, my brothers and sisters who are creatives, who go out there earning their living from using a camera or shooting videos, even graphic designers and other creatives. All over the world, the pandemic has changed the way we live and has changed the way we do business. Photography is the kind of profession that exposes you to different people. You're exposed to different environments. Sometimes you have to travel to take pictures. Sometimes you have to be at an event. This social distancing is just not helping our hustle, to be honest. In a couple of days now, the restrictions are going to be reduced. The lockdown is going to be modified, still under the general guidance that we should observe social distancing, wear face masks and so on and so forth. So first and foremost, as much as possible guys, let's limit our exposure. The default mode should be to stay at home. Gone are the days when you just leave your house in the morning, go hang out here, visit this person, visit that person, spend time in a colleague's studio, or just go out and hustle and make calls. Now we should spend most of our time at home and only go out when necessary. And then when you go out, observe social distancing. So the recommendation is about 2 meters from or 6 feet from everybody. I would even say if you can increase that distance, all the better. If we get the opportunity to go out to shoot, either to document the pandemic, to do some documentary photography, or to shoot portraits. So if you find yourself shooting out there, as much as possible, stay a safe distance away from people. It's better to assume everybody has the virus until proven otherwise. The government has recommended that we wear a face covering at all times. WHO also recommends this. If you can lay your hands on a surgical mask or an N95 professional mask, otherwise any kind of face covering can be used. You can go online, you can find out how to make your own face mask. And some people have already started making customized ones with Ankara and so on. So you could even brand it with your photography brand, if you really want to optimize the exposure. You should also wear gloves if you can. Don't forget that it's important to be in the habit of washing your hands all the time. I try to make a habit of always washing my hands every time I get home. We've also been given the advice of try to limit the way we touch things. It's good to have the habit of keeping your hands to yourself as much as possible. Put your hands in your pockets, fold your arms together as much as possible. Try to avoid touching everything in sight. You're going to do yourself a lot of good if you do that. Avoid touching your face. These are some of the earliest guidelines that came out because it's found that the virus can be transmitted from one person to the other when you touch a surface that has the virus and then you now touch your face, because these viruses, the way they enter the body is mostly through the mucous membranes in your nose, your eyes, your mouth as you breathe in, and they get into the lungs and so on. So avoid touching your eyes, avoid touching your nose, your face, your mouth. If you're in the habit of biting your nails like me, you need to stop it. If you're coughing or sneezing at any point in time, you should learn the habit of coughing into your elbow or coughing into a tissue, sneezing into a tissue, and then you dispose of that tissue properly and wash your hands immediately after. Also cover your mouth when you're coughing. Some people just cough out and that's not too good. Nowadays, though, if you don't learn that habit, people may teach you the hard way. So we've seen all those comedy skits where people cough and sneeze in public, and they could stigmatize you. Another thing that I think is really important is that you could get into the habit of going around with a small bottle of an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. This is important so that in case you don't have access to running water and soap, and you've been busy and active, you maybe gone to the market or gone to an office or something, you should be able to have that in your pocket or your bag, and then you bring it out and apply it on your hands and clean your hands as often as possible. And whenever you get access to soap and water, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. That's what the guidance says, and so it would be good for us to observe that closely. I read somewhere that it's also a good idea to get some antiseptic wipes, and you have those in your pocket or your bag, and so you can use that to clean your camera, clean the surface of your laptop and other things during the course of your activities. It's no longer the right time for us to work in groups. Okay, so it's advisable, just learn to work alone. If you have some photos you want to take, just try to work on your own. Try to just limit exposure as much as possible. Gone are the days when we could just come together, hang out at the studio and just work as in large numbers. If you operate a studio and you have a large number of staff, photographers, editors and so on, I think it's time that we reduce the number of people working at any given time. So if you had 5 photographers on ground at any point in time, maybe you limit it to 1 or 2. I also think that it's important to avoid shooting large groups of people. If you're taking on any jobs, it should be bookings only. You book ahead of time, you get to know who your client is. So all those large families of 20 coming to take pictures of your studio, I'm not sure it's a good idea anymore. I think you should just limit it to taking single portraits. Limit the number of people you have at any point in time in your studio if you have to open your studio. Along the same vein, avoid having unnecessary face-to-face meetings with potential clients. Everything nowadays can be done on Zoom or Skype, phone calls and so on and so forth. So if you have any corporate meetings to attend, have a Zoom meeting, have a Skype meeting, plan your job, your assignments. If you have a Zoom lens, good for you. Try to use your Zoom lens more and shoot from a far distance. Keep a safe distance. I've read the account of some photographers who have begun to go out to document the pandemic in various countries, Italy and so on and so forth, and they shoot from afar. They use a zoom lens, and if you don't have one, you still have to make do with whatever you have. This is not a time to be borrowing equipment, sharing equipment. As much as possible, you stick with what you have and use it. If you're operating a studio, also make sure that when your clients come in, they have an opportunity to wash their hands with soap and water, either at the entrance of your studio or they use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Make sure that they're wearing masks. Everybody needs to be wearing a face covering, except when you're about to take a picture. If it's a portrait you're taking, you could ask the person to take the mask off at the point of shooting, but otherwise everybody should have a mask on, including yourself. And you try to encourage your clients to avoid touching things unnecessarily, touching all kinds of surfaces. And make sure that periodically during the day you're also cleaning the surface of your laptop, your equipment, your gear, and you're observing social distancing even while in the studio. It's not a time to huddle together and begin to breathe into each other's faces. So another important thing is, to avoid on handshakes. If you need to greet anybody, you can just wave from afar. No need for all the handshakes and the hugs. Hey, how far now? What's up? Your diet is also very important. Need to make sure that you're eating right. Try to take as much fruits and vegetables and natural products as possible. Don't binge on alcohol. Exercise, keep yourself fit. These are all things that have been proven to improve your immunity against disease, and they also give you a psychological boost. Just knowing that you are physically fit and prepared for whatever this pandemic may bring. If you have enough money to buy multivitamins, do that. Get enough sleep at night. Don't be like me and stay up all night working. Those are very important things also for staying healthy as creatives. It's important to just stay inspired. Just try to keep yourself inspired. Don't be overwhelmed with all the bad news or stories of people succumbing to coronavirus. We're going to beat this. It's just going to change the way we do things, the way we do business, generally speaking, but doesn't mean it's going to stop. While you're at home, or if in any case the lockdown is extended, it's a good time to get on your laptop and clean up your hard drives, delete pictures that you're not going to need, back up all your other pictures and videos. Just do a general cleaning of your laptop, your hard drives, so that you make your computers run faster. And it's a good opportunity to also build up your portfolio. You've taken countless numbers of pictures in the past. the time to look back and choose, select your best shots and use it to update your website, your blog, your social media pages, and so on. There are a lot of things for creatives to do while on lockdown. I know that the major concern is money and how we can go out there and begin making money. I think that eventually, as businesses begin to come online, you can begin to think about taking on clients, but having these tips in mind, make sure that you are protecting yourself and protecting other people. The other things you could go into stock photography, look through your folders and pictures that you think are really good, that other people around the world may want to use. Go and register on stock websites like Flickr, 500 Pixels, and other places where you can sell your photos. Create an account and upload all those photos, and you might just be able to make money passively online. You could also participate in webinars, seminars that are online. You could be invited as a speaker, and maybe you get a token for the time that you're spending to speak. You could write a book. You could write a photography book and sell it. You could create a photo book if you're taking pictures of a particular location, or if you have documentary pictures on a particular topic. You could put them all into a photo book. Do some nice write-ups and sell the book online as a photo book. If you're a graphic designer, you could do graphics for people online. If you could even register with sites like Upwork and other sites where you can be a freelance agent, and people from all over the globe can look you up and ask you to edit photos for them or edit videos for them, and you get paid some money. So I think that we should look up. We shouldn't be discouraged. We shouldn't be pessimistic. We should be optimistic. And one thing I know is that photography is a profession that has survived decades and decades because people need to communicate, and photography is one powerful form of communication, as well as writing, of course, and making videos, graphic design. These are all visual communication tools, and because communication is very essential to life itself, there is no way that we in the business of doing visual communication will go hungry. It's just that we may need to adapt the way we do business. So there will always be pictures to shoot. There will always be things that creatives can do to make money. So let's not despair. Let's not feel like it's the end of the world for the photography business or for the videographer or cinematographer. There's still a lot you can do. I'm hoping that in the comments you can share with the rest of the community your own views on the tips that I've shared. Let's know what other ideas you think are useful for creatives at this point to not just survive and thrive, but to also make lots of money and to continue to do what we love to do, which is to create. Thank you very much for the time. It's a pleasure speaking to you.